Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Searching for Maximum Flavor podcast. Today, I sat down with the incredibly talented and hilarious couple that's taking the design scene by storm. You might know them from their hit television series, Designing Miami, that debuted on Netflix this year. In today's episode, we dive into their shared love of food, their best travel experiences, and the intersection of Dominican and Cuban culture in their home.
There's something cold.
See? Sense of touch.
There is something cold.
Yep. Okay. So grab your favorite drink and join us at the table as I welcome Ray and Eilyn Jimenez to the show. Hi, Ray and Eilyn. Thank you so much for being on the Searching for Maximum Flavor podcast. You guys are the amazing hosts of Designing Miami on Netflix.
Yes. Thank you for having us. We're super excited to be here.
Thank you so much, Adrianne. It's a pleasure to be here.
No, the pleasure is all mine. And I got to know, how did you guys get started in designing?
Oof, that's a long story.
Who wants to go first?
That's a loaded question.
You got all day?
Yes.
No, you go
Actually,
first.
I do.
Okay, perfect. So do we. We blocked it just for this special experience. So thank you again.
No, thank you.
My personal kind of short version of how I got into design, I was always into fashion. I was always into architecture.
Okay. Always meaning as a child?
Young Ray Jimenez version of myself. I was always doodling, drawing portraits of my mom, of my grandfather, my grandmother, drawing illustrations, fashion illustrations. But then I got a little bit older and I got really into architecture. So throughout high school and my early years of college, I started asking actual architects, hey, what do you think about architecture? And they all said, do not do architecture.
Yeah.
So all legitimate architects swayed me away from doing architecture. And I was also really into fashion. So I asked a few fashion designers, hey, what do you think about fashion design? And they all said, do not do fashion design.
So everyone's telling you, no.
Yes, like run. So through a high school friend, they kind of persuaded me. He kind of persuaded me, hey, why don't you look into interior design? I said, interesting, What is that? So my buddy goes, look into interior design. I think you'll like it. So I checked it out and I was blown away because to me, interior design is the combination of the functionality and the structure of architecture, but also the color, the design, the textiles, the prints of fashion. So to me, that is the best of both worlds. And once I found interior design, I was like, this is it.
Mm-hmm. And how about like your style? How did you hone in on your specific style?
It's a good question. And if I'm going to be quite frank, I don't think I've honed in just yet. I still think I'm learning. I still think I'm elaborating. I still think I have a lot to see and to do. So I'm still finding my ways. Yes, I know what I like. I do like a little bit more of a elevated masculine approach to design. But you know, if you show me a very minimalistic powder bathroom or a very maximalist living or kitchen, I'm all about both. So I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still evolving as an interior designer myself.
And your family, your background, anybody into fashion or architecture?
My aunt,
Okay.
that's not what she majored in, but she is the best dressed out of the family. My aunt Damaris, Titi, as I call her. I definitely got that green tooth and this time fashion tooth from her for sure.
Right. And Eilyn, how about you? How did you get started, in this world?
I mean, I never knew that this was me. I don't think my path was as straightforward as Ray. I mean, I did always spend a lot of time in designing my room. And I mean, I would push my furniture to the center of the room, paint my walls, rearrange my furniture. I really thought I was going to get into law. I still love law, but I went a little bit different. It was in college, actually. I was studying architecture. And it was a professor who told me, hey, Eilyn, I see you putting effort into not only the architecture, but also the interior design. I would design the interiors and be like, but we're not classifying you for the interiors. And he's the one who said, why don't you check out the interior design program? And I did. And I ended up, fusing those two worlds together. And that's how I resulted in becoming a designer.
But what took you from the law path into architecture?
I mean, I graduated high school very young. I was 16. I wasn't sure the direction I wanted to go in. I felt like it wasn't until I actually went into the architecture program. I became friends with the son of the dean of architecture.
Okay.
And I went into the architecture program and I fell in love from like the presentations to the 3D models to the way it was very curated and put together. I feel like law is very like, black and white versus interior design and architecture is very fluid and it's always self-evolving. Yeah.
And how about your family? Where did you come from? Anybody into architecture or interior design?
I mean, and the only thing close to that was my father, who was always in construction and development. Our houses were always under construction. So he was always either renovating a kitchen or a bathroom, and that kind of set the tone for development. And now looking back at seeing at a young age how much I cared to my room look a specific way and constantly change, it kind of was, like the aha moment where I look back now and I see that and I was like, okay, now it makes sense why I was doing that at the age of like 9 while other people are playing with dolls.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That reminds me of like my story a little bit. I wanted to go into journalism like my whole life.
Okay.
And then I was actually put into a cooking class by mistake in high school, junior year of high school. I call it my lightning strike or the aha moment. And I was waiting to get into my journalism class when all of a sudden Johnson & Wales University comes in to do like this epic presentation. And it was as if they were only talking to me. And that's when I decided, oh my gosh, I want to be a chef. This is the moment. This is where I want to do this for the rest of my life. But I was on a different path and then I learned a whole different passion.
It's the aha moment.
The aha moment. And speaking of aha moments, how did you guys meet? What's your moment?
Our moment was the introduction through a mutual friend, my best friend in high school, Christian Fong. He's also an interior designer, but he's on the other side of the spectrum. He's in the sales.
Okay.
He's one of our wallpaper vendors. So while he was wheeling and dealing wallpaper to both of us, he also he was like Mr. Cupid, right? So he knows my personality, my quirks. He knows Eilyn, her personality, her quirks. He goes, Ray, I know you're doing your thing. I know you're single. And I know you made a pledge to yourself that you need to be single for a year, but there's somebody I really want you to meet.
Well, that didn't work out.
Oh yeah. As soon as I met her, as soon as he made that introduction, it was a done deal.
It was done.
Yeah.
Which we later found out that we lived in the same street. We went to the same elementary school. We had the same teacher. We had the same group of circle of people around us. We did the same thing, but we never met till years later.
You were stalking me the whole time.
Oh yeah, for sure. You figured it out.
The entire time. You were
Excuse me.
stalking.
If I recollect, you had stalked my page the day you met me and then acted like you didn't know me. So let's not go into specifics.
I did my research.
So this is reminding me a lot of your show, Designing Miami, this energy. So how did that come about? How did that opportunity present itself?
So really, I had done some segments for TV before. I had done some stuff live TV for, Monoti Mujer, which used to be on CNN and Latino. And then I did some, small things for potential possible TV shows, but really nothing really aligned with where I saw my future. So I kind of put that in the back burner. And then 5 years later, the executive producer followed me on Instagram still, 5 years later, and he reached out to me and called me out of the blue one day. And I was like, why is Gardner calling me? But I answered. And he's like, hey, what have you been up to? I gave him a recap of what had been my life. I was like, hey, I got married. He found it super interesting, that I was married to an interior designer, but he thought that we worked together. When he found out that we worked apart and that technically we were competitors, he's like, can I give you a call back in like 20 minutes? Long story short, that 20 minutes later, they came down, they filmed a reel, they pitched it, we got 3 offers, and we ended up going with Netflix. And the rest is history pretty much.
Congratulations.
That's the condensed version of the story.
Yeah. Congratulations, because it's great.
Thank you.
And speaking of competitors, how does that feel? What's a day in the life of you guys as your competitors in your industry?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, there's nobody I would rather compete with other than Eilyn Jimenez. Right, because she keeps me on my toes. She makes me bring.
Right?
She makes
I'm
me.
so glad I have that on the record now.
Yeah, every time I wake up, I know I have a mission, and that is to be the better version of myself, and to be the better version for both of us. Right, because we're building a future. So I know I got to bring it, and every time I wake up, I got to bring my A game, because she is a badass. Right, so
and it's the same in return.
She's a great leader. She's a great role model. I definitely look up to her. The way she attacks and speaks to her clients. I wish I can do that if I don't do that already.
You do that already. You're just hard on yourself. He's his worst critic.
Yeah. But yeah, now that is on the really nice mushy side. On the competitive side, I want to win.
Right. And you guys know each other best. So how do you use knowing, how she functions, how she's going to think, how she's going to,
respond,
close the sale.
Yeah.
So do you use that?
I do, but one of the things I like about her approach the most is she's very selective with the clients she welcomes into her studio. She just doesn't take on any project. Like it's got to be a right fit, not only for the client, but it's got to be a right fit for her. That's something that I admire from her because, back in 2010 when I started my own thing, I would take whatever I can get.
Right.
And you're starting
all do.
off, so
Yeah.
you're building,
Yeah.
you're building that kind of rapport. And slowly but surely, especially when I met her over the last 7 years, she's always been very selective. And she's like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable with this person for whatever reason it may be. I'm going to pass. So that's something I've kind of learned to do as well.
I mean, but that's also something that I've done now that I'm able to, because when I first started, I started with $99 consultations on Groupon.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I started. It was a 2-hour consultation for $99.
Oh my gosh.
And I knew that would lead to word of mouth. But at the beginning, it was, you take whatever's coming for you. Now, thank God, knock on wood, we've been able to build a portfolio very selective. And I think we've paid our dues is the way I see it. And we still have so much to grow. But really, we want to do this with people who enjoy it, clients who respect the craft. I want to wake up every day and love what I do, not be like, oh my God, this client. And if I know it's not a good fit, I'm doing a disservice to myself, but also the client in the end.
Who's been your favorite client so far?
Oof, that's a tough one. I have to say my repeat clients, and I have one client specifically that we're in our 9th project with him.
Really?
Yeah, he is amazing.
That speaks volumes of your work.
It does. And I take that so much, and it's something that I hold at such a high value. He calls and I answer.
Yeah.
But he is completely trusting. He's like, hey, I sent you the money. I expect it done in 8 months. And he really trusts me 120%. There is nothing that I can't present him. He'll doubt every now and then, but he'll be patient and he loves the results. So that relationship, that trust, the fact that he continues to come back, the fact that he's just like, do whatever you want, that knows that I'm going to do what's best for him and the way that he lives is probably my favorite because of the relationship, not just because of the project itself.
Well, you guys are friends outside.
I've been to his wedding.
Right.
Yeah.
And okay, so I know that a lot of the inspiration for your designs comes from travel, just like cooking. Like for us chefs, we go somewhere and all of a sudden it hits you, and you just you get back and you're like, I need to make this. So I'm sure it's the same for you.
Right.
What's been your most favorite place that's held that impact for you?
For me, and probably you're going to probably agree with me, it's Africa.
Yeah, South Africa for sure.
Yeah, we went to Africa for our honeymoon, and part of the inspiration, the design of our house is so much inspired by the winelands.
Influenced by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the grounds of South Africa was just bar none.
Yeah.
We went to a lot of amazing restaurants, something I know you would appreciate.
My goodness.
Really?
Yeah,
So
in
the
Cape
food
Town.
scene,
Spectacular.
Really?
Spectacular.
Something epic that you tried.
Yeah.
What is it?
Where we went to so many places. There was one specifically. It was a Michelin star, and it was. They wouldn't give you a menu. They gave you a list of items. So there'd be like fennel, egg foam, trout,
goat cheese.
Goat cheese. That's it.
That's it.
And it would come in like a Polly Pocket. Like the presentation was, you had no idea what you were eating, but the moment you tasted and all those ingredients got together, it was like an explosion.
Right.
And it was such a unique experience because that was so out of the box.
Right.
But it was so impactful that we were like, wow, this is probably like the best meal we've ever had. It was so good.
Oh my gosh. I love when I hear stories of like a place and all of a sudden years later, people still describe it with that fervor, with that passion.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what you guys recreate for people, for yourselves, in spaces like that. So what's your favorite part of, I would say, your job or your craft in general? That moment where, where you're, let's say you're turning in keys to a guest or a space or whatnot. What is your favorite?
I'm going to go ahead and say my favorite moment, my favorite part of a project is when it starts to come together. Because when it starts to come together, you know whether you did a good job or not. You don't have
you guys know inside.
If you know, you know. So once you see that floor comes in and that wall treatment get installed and that chandelier and the metals and the furniture, you're like, okay, I hit a home run.
Yeah.
Or you're like, damn, I only got a double on this one.
Or you see like something that you were worried about come to life and it looks amazing. And you're like, okay, if this came out great, then the rest is, that together with
to me is like
the install, like turning it over to the client and like seeing them walk in, like, or cry when they walk in, they see the space, or just appreciate and be like, Eilyn, this is amazing. Like, I love that. That moment is a small time window because you're turning in years of work, but it's what kind of is a fuel to do it all over
All
again
over
and
again.
start it with somebody new, you know.
So speaking of pushing the envelope and getting a little more creative,
Yes.
we're going to push the envelope a little bit here.
Okay.
We're going to do a little thing I call dark dining.
Okay.
So I'm going to blindfold you guys. Well, you're going to blindfold yourselves.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Are you ready to go on a little culinary adventure with
I'm
me?
so excited.
go.
I
Okay.
am so excited. Babe, can you fix my mask?
Of course, I would love to. Hold on, but I can't see, so it's might be a little bit of a problem.
Is yours on?
Don't hit me. Mine is on. Yes.
Okay, can you fix mine?
Okay.
Never mind, you can't
No.
see. Forget it.
So you guys have 2 plates in front of you. Well,
Okay.
1 each. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your hands gently at the edge of the table right in front of you. Right in
Both?
front. Both hands
Okay.
right in front of you. And well, yes, Eilyn, you touch the plate and you're kind of inching your way towards a plate that's kind of in the center.
Okay.
Okay. So this is just giving you a sense of place. You're going to find a plate
Got it.
Okay.
there you go. Yes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to smell. You're going to bring that plate towards your nose gently,
Oh my God,
about 6 inches first,
Okay.
and then slowly get closer and closer. And you can bring your head towards it too.
Just tell me if I'm too close.
Oh my
You're
God.
not. You're
Qué
pretty
rico.
good.
I don't know what it is, but it smells so good.
Okay, then you're going to place it down gently.
Can I smell it again?
Yeah. So what we're smelling for here are familiar scents. Anything that comes at you. Okay. Now, how this works is
Oof.
by suppressing the sense of sight, all of your other senses become heightened. So the sense of touch, the sense of smell, sound as you may crunch or bite, and ultimately taste. Okay.
I'm
So now
excited.
we might get a little messy here, but we're gonna touch. We're gonna graze our fingers across the plate, looking for textures. Oh, yeah.
You mean?
I
Keep
touch.
moving. There's
It's
yeah.
saucy.
Texture?
There
Aquí
you
tengo
go.
una-
I think this is bacon.
Aquí
feels
tengo
like
una
bacon.
matica, ¿no?
So you're relying now on the sense of touch to figure out what it is you think you're about to eat.
Oh my
What?
God.
There's
Yes.
something cold.
See, sense of touch.
There is
Yes.
something cold.
Yep. Okay.
So it's a cold dish?
Here we go.
Wow.
What the hell?
So much kind of like your guys' industry. We're looking here for texture. You can't see it, but there's color.
This is really cold.
Okay.
I know this is.
All right. So now,
feels like a flower.
once you feel you're comfortable enough with the textures that are on this dish, you're going to use your right hand and you're going to go about 6 to 8 inches to the right until you find a fork.
Got it.
Is there
And a
knife?
knife. There's a fork and knife.
On both sides?
Feel your way. It's on your right side. The fork and knife are placed on your right side. You're going to need both of them.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
I found the napkin.
Perfect. Yep. You have a napkin there if you need it. So you're going to carefully try to cut into what's in the center of the plate. Now, if you need to touch it, instead of using your fork and knife, you can. First, again, finding sense of place. And you're going to cut into it and try and smoosh around as much of the ingredients as you can.
How do we know what the center is?
Well, more or
Can I
less,
figure it out?
you're actually touching it. So that's
I
how
am?
good you're dead center. That's
Okay.
how, yeah. Now you're going to try to fork whatever you can. Now, once you get frustrated enough with the fork and knife and you've cut it up enough, feel free to use your hands and feed yourselves whatever you can. And you can
Our
also,
hands.
yes,
You said
You can-
sauce it around.
yep. Because
Oh.
if you're moving it around, you're getting all of the components.
So do I just make a concoction of like?
Yep, on your own.
Okay.
Yep, you're
Oh, so
doing
I'm mixing it.
exceptionally well. Yes, you're mixing it.
Okay.
You're doing fantastic.
Is this how pizza's like tossed?
This is interesting.
I know.
Now I'm
I hope I'm
clueless.
doing this in the plate and not like.
No, you're doing
And, like,
fantastic.
This is interesting.
Okay, so you've mixed it up pretty well, Eilyn.
Okay, yeah.
And okay, yes,
Do I
Ray,
grab
you're
a
doing great.
fork?
Okay.
Now grab a. Yes. Now you have a decent forkful. Now you're
Who's
gonna
who-
bring that to your mouth gently.
Who has a decent fork?
Both of you do.
Okay.
Both
Okay,
of
then
you
eat
do.
it.
Okay.
Yes, she licked it first.
Okay, espérate.
Oh my
Now,
God.
okay, go.
This is a piece of burrata.
Boom.
Piece of cheese.
Okay, now you got to go around the plate and get something else. You can drop the fork and you can grab it with your hands.
Okay.
Because
That's definitely mozzarella, burrata,
Oh yeah. I said
Okay.
burrata.
stracciatella.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, shoot. Microphone.
Coming.
So you're now saying go in with the hands?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God. So good.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Bacon?
Bacon, you're very close.
That's what I was gonna say.
Think Italian bacon. Think
Sausage.
Italian.
Sausage.
Well, I mean, it can be.
Porcini.
No.
Close.
Pork,
He's close.
um,
Porcini is a mushroom.
Not
It's a cured Italian.
prosciutto.
All right.
Prosciutto.
Okay.
Prosciutto?
Is that your guys' final answer?
For the crunchy stuff?
For all the things. You guys said burrata, you said mozzarella, you
Does
even
it
said
have-
stracciatella.
Does it have did you sprinkle a little bit of
It has, like-
truffle oil in there?
I may have, but we're gonna
Truffle,
you know,
or-
since you guys did that kiss earlier, I want to see if you guys could feed each other.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Oh,
All right, let's
Dale,
grab a
babe.
little piece here with
With
your
my finger?
Yeah, with your finger. Yeah.
Babe, you go first.
Okay, babe, hold on.
Okay.
Let me grab a piece that's not ginormous. I don't know
Okay.
if this is ginormous.
Babe,
Hold
I'm
on.
ready.
All right.
Talk to me so I can know it.
Here we go.
Look, listen to the voice coming out of my
Yes.
Yay!
Yay! That was great.
Wow, that was like your telenovela voice.
That was fantastic.
Wow,
Okay.
this is so good.
Wow.
You guys have done this before.
No, I swear. Babe.
What? Yes.
Oh, you're here. Sorry. My turn. Be very careful. Don't make me messy because I know.
Do not make her messy.
I don't know.
This-
No pressure.
I just
This
think
is
we
a
should do this at
sound
home. That's all I'm saying.
Your turn.
with my
With your hand. With your hand.
Listen
Yes.
to the tone of my voice. Do not
Yeah.
dirty my hand.
Now you guys are relying on the sense of sound to guide you.
Bing.
That's perfect. Ooh.
That's my chin, bro.
No.
Yes.
Oh God,
Wow. You guys
Wow, this is
did
so good.
so good. Okay. Your napkin is right by your right hand.
Oh.
Let's give yourself a wipe. And then you're going to remove your mask.
Okay.
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 It is really good. I almost
Ready to remove the mask?
Yeah. Time to remove the final reveal here.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready, honey?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God. Yay!
Yes. Okay. So you guys were
We got
spot
bacon.
on.
Wow.
So it's burrata mozzarella. So you guys were spot on that. And that's crispy prosciutto. So the familiar texture for prosciutto is not crispy. People immediately go with
Bacon.
Bacon. Exactly.
Wow, this is so
It
good.
is dressed with a little bit of white truffle oil. We add a little bit of onions for acidity and balsamic. So you have multiple textures here. You have sweet, savory, lots of umami. And you guys did phenomenally with the textures,
So good.
the sound. I mean,
Is that fig?
and that's fig for
Oh my God,
sweetness.
so
yes.
So good.
Yeah.
If anybody cancels in any of the other podcasts, call us. We'll come back.
Thank
We'll do
you.
another one.
Okay, but this is not it. There's
Okay,
a
fine,
round
fine.
two. Okay, so you have another plate before you, and you're going to place your hands right around the plate. Perfect. Okay, that's your sense of place. There's the actual dish is right in the center of that plate, and we're going to do the same thing that we did first, where we're going to bring the plate towards our nose.
Oh, it
And-
smells good.
You're going to try to smell it. See if any of the aromas are familiar, if they're telling, if they're striking. Okay.
I don't know what it is, but it smells good.
I know what this is.
Okay, so now we're going to place the plate down. You're great. Okay. All right, now we're going to, once you place it down, you're going to use your hands to work your way towards the center of the plate and feel for textures. Towards, yep, just like that.
Okay, sauce.
Feel-
Oh,
Okay, aquí hay cebollita.
Ah, feel for
feels like
textures.
grain.
Y aquí
Okay.
hay something mushy. No, I don't know what that is. More
Okay.
mushy stuff here. A ver.
I feel mushy,
I feel this is a piece of.
but it feels like really chopped up things.
I know what this
Okay,
is.
so texture. Texture is going to reveal itself here.
Y aquí
Okay.
hay this mushiness
Now once-
again. Okay. Está bien.
It feels like either grains. I don't know. Is it like arroz?
How about smell? What are you guys smelling? Anything familiar? And it doesn't have to be specific. You could say, I think it's going to be what
I literally have no idea.
I smell steak and onions.
steak and onions, okay?
I don't even know. I just smell good.
Yes, you do smell good, honey.
No, I mean, whatever it is, there's something like, it feels like meat or pork
Okay.
or fish.
No, fish is
No,
a
it's
bit
not
more
fish.
flaky.
Yeah.
And it's not chicken
Okay.
tampoco
So
because
here,
Okay.
I like what Ray's doing. When he's about, he keeps on grabbing it. He's ready to take a bite out of it. So if you don't need the fork and knife that are placed at your right side, you really don't need it. But if you like, there's a fork and knife placed to your
I'm
right.
going to be a lady.
Okay. And you can use your fork and knife to try to, garner a piece there if you can. Now, I will say if you use the fork, you might need, no, you're going to have to stab it. Stab. Like that. Yes!
Be careful what
Yes.
you wish for, chef.
There you go. She did really good. You got to be careful there, Ray.
Yeah, you're talking to
Okay, so you're going to take a bite out of that? Yes, just like that. She's done this before.
Oh my God, man.
No, you didn't. Wow, he went for it. All of it went down.
Wow.
Okay, what are you tasting? What goes first? Is it a pop? Is it texture? Is it
tastes
taste?
like steak.
Okay,
Like steak.
okay, steak. All right.
I want to get more of, I don't know if I'm supposed to dip it.
What comes at you first?
Steak.
Steak. Now, Ray, you had mentioned steak and onions.
Or pork. I mean, I do taste like chimichurri
Okay.
kind of vibes.
Okay, so a little bit of savory and herbaceousness there. Mm-hmm. Is it savory, salty? Is there sweetness?
It's savory.
Okay.
Definitely savory.
Pork.
Okay.
Is it pork?
Well, you'll find out in a minute.
It could be pork. You're right. You're right.
Okay, it tastes onion. Like
Okay.
a chimichurri blend of something. I don't even know if I grabbed something else.
I don't know either.
I don't think there's anything on my fork. You said stab, right?
Yeah. Well, you still have a piece of it hanging from your fork.
Oh.
So
This
as
could
you
be-
drag your fork, you're dragging it with it's towards
I see now.
yeah.
Well,
It's hanging like a
I feel now.
yeah. It's
This-
hanging like a flag. There you go. You got it.
There we go. I think it's pork.
This might be crazy, but this could be chuleta. How do you say chuleta in English?
Pork chop.
Yeah,
Pork chop.
Okay.
it could be that.
I don't know, but the concoction of the
I just know it's
onion
delicious.
is so good.
Okay. So can you give me your top 3 favorite proteins that you guys have on a regular, your go-tos?
I'm gonna stay on the meat side.
Okay.
So like beef.
Okay.
Then number 3 would be fish. So
Fish.
A branzino, a swordfish,
Okay.
anything that's white, and then
Okay.
of course tuna.
I would do steak, chicken, seafood.
Steak, chicken, seafood. Okay. All right. So then now that we established that,
So good. Okay.
It is so good.
I have
we're going to remove our masks.
There's probably nothing left in my dish.
I know you did good.
Okay.
Both of you actually did really good.
I want to know.
Yeah. So
No wonder. I was like, I feel like there's something here, but I couldn't.
every time that
Damn,
you
I
were
did
bringing,
not pick up
you
on
were
the
looking for,
corn.
you were bringing it up. So you guys are enjoying duck breast. Duck.
No way.
Yes.
Damn.
With a corn and jicama pico de gallo and a blueberry reduction.
This is fire.
Thank you.
I thought it was pork.
Yeah.
I thought it was pork, and no wonder it wouldn't stay on the fork. It's so okay.
So you actually
whoa.
did really good by thinking that it was pork. So over at Chef Adrian's, we marinate our duck like you would like an Asian style pork tenderloin. It's the
I
same
did not
recipe
get the
for it.
corn.
I didn't get the
Shirt.
corn.
Watch out your shirt. Say bad though.
So far, so good. I don't know
Wow,
how,
so
especially with
good.
this dish.
And it has blueberry.
A blueberry reduction on that. Yeah, blueberry
Wow, it's
plays
so
very
good.
well with duck. And a lot of people, they'll be like, I don't eat duck on a regular, or that's not my go-to protein.
not.
No, but
Wow, it's so
when
good.
it's treated like this, you'd be surprised. Now people will add it to their list of like, wait, I can have duck. You know,
It's so good.
Yeah.
And this corn
Thank you.
concoction.
Fire.
thank you.
Yes.
I want.
Yes.
I
Yes.
want
Yes.
all of
Thank
it.
you.
Wow. I don't know why I thought it was pork. I thought it was pork because of the texture.
Me too.
But it tastes like,
I thought it was like a steak
wow, this is so good.
medium.
This is so good.
Would you guys do dark dining again?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
If you're the chef, yes.
Wow, this is so good.
So good. I was not expecting the little.
I was not either.
What do you call that when it's like?
What is this?
Like a salad made out of onions and corn and like.
It's like a pico de gallo.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's like,
but
it
this
is.
one is corn and jicama. So we wanted to confuse you. The jicama has really no flavor, but it has a lot of crunch. So that was thrown in there to confuse you with the pop from the corn. If the corn was in there singular, you'd be like, that's corn. But since you were getting pop from both, you really weren't set to pick it up.
But does it have onion at all?
It has onion, also similar crunch, and it does have cilantro. So
I love it.
that herbaceousness is very familiar to like a chimichurri, you know.
So good.
Delicious.
I could have like this every day.
Delicious.
This is so good.
So this has been so much fun, and I just need to get a little bit more fun out of this because you guys are a blast. Like, can I ask you a few fun questions?
Let's do it.
Please.
Okay. So just
Don't
come
hold
at
back.
me. I'm
Don't
not
hold
going to
back.
hold back. They're hot takes. So, however it comes, shoot it at me.
Okay.
And of course, please feel free to sip along the way, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're kind of slow stepping over there.
Well, because I was focusing on
I'm
my
gonna
eating.
call you out.
Catfishing someone should be punishable by law.
Catfishing someone should be put.
Punishable by law. Yes or no?
I mean, yeah, because you just wasted a whole ton of time on somebody like lying and it's not true. Absolutely. I think it should be like, what, 3 years in jail? Yeah, I would say. Why not?
You already know how long the sentence
3
is?
years is a long time to learn your lesson, but not too long where it's uncomfortable.
You wanted to be a judge.
I told you. I told
Thank
you.
God you weren't.
I think it's true. It would have prevented people from creating fake online profiles. Imagine I would have catfished you. You would have seen a photo of me and I would have wasted your time for like a year.
Catfishing is equivalent to identity theft.
Theft.
Exactly.
Agree.
So
And that's 15
yeah.
years. Imagine.
Yes.
how do you know how long?
How do
it
you
is?
know? Yeah.
I know these are useless fun facts that I
Okay.
know for some reason. So
yes, we agree that it's punishable by law.
Yes.
All
yes,
right.
Yes.
Android products are better quality than Apple products.
absolutely not.
Android, no way.
Absolutely not.
All right. We all agree. New York is better than LA.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You both said New York is better than LA. Why?
You can do so many things in New York. Like you can literally go to one restaurant different every single day in New York and you would still never repeat it.
Yep.
Like it's such a small, huge city. It is, I feel like it's a world of its own.
That is true.
100%. The character that New York has, you can't compare it to any city in the world, aside from like Paris and Milan. Those very ancient Rome, those very ancient cities. The energy, the people, the work ethic, the mindset that New York naturally has, you can't compare it to anywhere else in the world. So New York compared to any city.
I agree.
It's more rude to show up late than to show up underdressed.
I think it's more rude to show up late than being underdressed.
Yeah, I feel like Miami is such a like kind of high and low. You could go to somewhere super high end and still dress low in that aspect. So I do think I think it's something as a society we have to work better on because we tend to let being late, especially as a Cuban. I can speak from experience.
Being famous makes your life harder.
We're not famous.
We're not famous.
so-
So I don't
Yes,
know.
you are. Yes, you are.
we are not. No.
Okay, I wouldn't say that we're famous. I would just say we are a little bit more recognized than before, but that equates to having more things on your plate, which makes you busier.
Okay.
But I don't know if it makes life harder. I think I feel it boomerangs you into fulfilling a lot of your dreams a lot quicker.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I could only imagine like the uberly famous, they can't even go to Target,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So I think that must be a little bit of a challenge. However, that comes at a price. I mean, you have the fame. That fame probably comes with a lot of fortune, monetarily value. So
I'd rather live in a tiny apartment in a great location than a huge house in a terrible location.
I agree. Because I'd rather live in a place that's smaller, more uncomfortable in that aspect, but accessible to living life outside than having this big monstrosity of a house in the middle of nowhere with nothing to do.
Okay. We agree?
Agreed.
Okay. Someone calling their this question gets me. Someone calling their boyfriend daddy is weird and creepy.
I call you papi all the time.
I always say papi is different than daddy.
Yeah, daddy is weird because I don't even call my dad daddy. It's
Me
kind of
either.
weird. I call
I'm
him
like,
dad. You know?
I call him
It's weird.
dad, but-
yeah, I think that's very popular in Miami with all the sugar babies. So if
Right.
you hear daddy, it's for other connotations besides it being their dad.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Okay, daddy. I'm gonna start calling you daddy. I'm like, hey,
Look.
daddy.
from a male perspective, right? If Eilyn calls me daddy,
Yeah, me.
you know, I'm gonna be like, okay, mommy, let's go. Like, what are you trying to get into
get
right
it.
now? That's my 2 cents, guys. It's the real Ray Jimenez.
You should become friends with your ex.
You should absolutely not become friends.
Okay.
You
That was
should.
definite.
Absolutely
Perfect.
not.
The judge put her hammer
He
down.
doesn't even have to comment. He
No.
knows. No.
It's a no. Marriage proposals should not be done in public in front of a lot of people.
I mean,
Whatever makes a couple happy,
Yeah.
you know, typically it's the man proposing to the woman, right? And he should take into consideration what the woman
yeah,
likes.
yeah, exactly. There's some people who are more private and they want it private, and if that's what they want, then go for it. But if you want to, I mean, there's people who get engaged in Disney World and they love it.
Yeah.
Whatever, to each his own. Whatever
How
makes
did
people
you guys
happy.
get engaged?
We were traveling and we went to Greece for the first time.
Yeah.
And I took her on a catamaran, very romantic. It was just me and her.
And Santorini.
And Santorini,
Oh.
we were like island hopping, and there was like this beautiful scenic island with this
It was also my birthday.
crystallized.
Oh.
Yeah, it was also her birthday, and there was like this beautiful island with crystallized black rock, like
It looks like
carved,
black diamonds.
Oh,
carved out of like the seawater, the Mediterranean Sea, and it was like perfect backdrop.
It was like when the volcano exploded and the winds got it, the mixture
Yeah.
of the hot and the cold crystallized the volcanic ash and makes it look like black diamonds. So you can't even swim there
Right.
because of that.
And
But
the
it's
water
gorgeous.
you want to jump in the water because it's so clear, but it's like don't do it. It's super dangerous.
wow.
So that's where I proposed.
So it was private.
Oh,
It was
private.
Private.
Okay.
It was definitely private.
Oh, this sounds unforgettable and
was.
beautiful.
It was private, but as soon as she said yes, luckily, we just FaceTimed all of our friends.
Yeah.
And family.
So it was somewhat public private.
The best of both worlds.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I didn't even tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody.
Just my dad.
Yeah, I asked
Okay.
for permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for giving me permission to blindfold you today.
course.
It was so fun. You guys are so awesome. Can you tell us where to find you? Where do we follow you? Tell us what's next.
Oh my God, there's so many things. We have a
Go.
lot of things in the works. And
Go.
I wish we could share more. But I mean, at the end of the day, social media is kind of the gateway to anybody. So at my personal is Eilyn Jimenez _ and our company is Sire Design.
Same. Ray Jimenez _ and then business wise or studio wise, you can find us at Raymond Nicholas Design House.
And if not, just look us up in Netflix and we'll be there in your screens in the background.
Yes.
Sweet tostones with our grandmas. But thank you so much for having this. Was amazing. This
No,
was amazing.
it was
Seriously.
amazing having you. I hope you had a blast.
We
And
did.
I can't wait to do this again.
I can't
This-
wait.
this-
We're
by the
gonna
way,
wait for the
this
next
was-
invitation.
it
Let's
was
set the
very
bar
cool.
high.
Thank you.
I loved every moment of it.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you guys.
Having us, seriously.